Hey everyone, it's Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today I'll be showing you how to make buttermilk pancakes completely from scratch. Buttermilk pancakes are one of my all-time favorite breakfast foods, and they are so easy to make completely from scratch. Today I'm going to be walking you through all of the steps. Don't worry, they are very simple, and you will never want to go back to a box mix again. So to begin, the first thing you're going to need is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to want to put this in a large bowl. And we're going to add 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you'll want to use a whisk to stir these ingredients together really well. You want all of your dry ingredients to be really nicely incorporated before we continue. This is looking pretty good, so now we're going to set our dry ingredients aside, and we're going to need a separate medium-sized bowl for our wet ingredients. So to this bowl, we are actually going to add 2 1/4 cups of buttermilk. Now, you definitely want to use buttermilk and not regular milk for this recipe, but if you don't have buttermilk on hand, I do have a very simple buttermilk substitute you can use, and I will link to that in the description below. We'll add 2 large eggs, and you're just going to want to lightly scramble these before you add them into your buttermilk. Now whisk in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. The next thing you'll need is 4 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. Now you really don't want this to be scorching hot. You want to let it cool for a couple minutes before you add it to your mixture. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to whisk the wet mixture we already have, and while I'm whisking, I'm going to slowly drizzle this butter in. This is going to help to incorporate that butter evenly into the mixture. Because of the difference in temperature, you're adding a warm butter to a cold buttermilk. You might see a little bit of curdling here. That's okay. It's not going to ruin your pancakes, so don't panic if you see that. Now that we have our wet ingredients nicely combined, we're going to bring back those dry ingredients that we combined earlier, and we're going to pour these wet ingredients into the dry. Now what comes next is one of the most critical parts of making a buttermilk pancake or any pancake. It's really important that you do not overmix this batter. So I'm going to be using a wooden spoon and just very gently stirring everything together until it is just combined. Now if you overwork this batter, what will happen is you'll end up with flat pancakes, and nobody wants flat pancakes. We want them to be nice and fat and thick. So at this point, our batter is actually looking great. As you might be able to see, there's a little bit of flour you can see. It might even look a little lumpy. That's okay. That's a really good indicator that we didn't overmix our batter. Of course, you don't want to undermix it either, but this is what you're looking for. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set this aside, and we're going to head over to our stovetop. You're going to need a medium nonstick skillet. I actually like to use a skillet that's a little bit smaller. This is going to be the size of my pancake, so this helps give me the nice round uniform looking pancake shape. But you can certainly use a larger pan. So I'm going to set this on my stovetop. You'll lightly spray this pan with cooking spray, or if you don't have cooking spray, you can use a pastry brush and lightly brush the pan with canola oil or vegetable oil instead. Set your stovetop heat to medium-high, and we're going to let that pan get hot before we add any batter to it. So this is going to take a couple minutes, and the best way I like to test that the pan is actually ready to start cooking pancakes is I'll just hover my hand over it, and if I can feel that heat emanating off the pan, I know we're good to go. Letting your batter rest while the pan preheats is also really good for the batter. It's going to help give it that extra levity, give you nice thick pancakes when we finally do cook them. So our pan is feeling pretty good now. So now we are ready to add our batter. You can just pour this directly into the skillet. I'm actually going to use an ice cream scoop, and I'm going to portion about 1/2 to 2/3 cup of batter into the pan. Now this is the amount of batter that I'm using to make a single pancake, and this recipe is going to yield about 8 nice sized pancakes. Now we're going to just watch this batter until the edges look like they're cooked and the bubbles that you see rising up in the pancakes are beginning to burst. Once that happens, you're ready to flip your pancake. Now continue to cook your pancake for a couple more minutes or until it is a nice golden brown color, and then we can remove this to our serving platter. So that's your first pancake. Now you'll just repeat these steps with the remainder of your batter, and I do recommend lightly spraying or brushing your pan in between each pancake. Buttermilk pancakes are best enjoyed warm, and I always recommend topping them off with a little bit of butter and pure maple syrup. And that is how you make the best, fluffiest, most delicious buttermilk pancakes. I really hope you guys will try this recipe out. If you do, please let me know what you think of it. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching today's recipe, and I will see you next time. Hey, if you guys enjoyed today's buttermilk pancake recipe, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. Please make sure to hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, if you enjoyed today's recipe, here are a few others you might like as well.